time on Krafted. Following on from a recent live stream for us at the DJ shop in Southampton, we talked with just her and began by asking about the highlight of her year so far.
Can I get away with it almost being this year?
Go on then.
It's just in last year, just before New Year, it was the night before New Year's Eve. I played in Berlin at a club called Polygon, and a load of my friends came out there with me and were on the dance floor in front of me. And obviously it was almost New Year, so it was really, everybody was celebrating. And Berlin's quite crazy anyway, so it was a really good set, and I went kind of a bit more techno than I normally do. Yeah, and I'm now playing there. I've played there again actually in March, but it wasn't as quite as memorable for me as that one.
With so much emphasis on artists having a strong online presence, how do you deal with that?
It's an interesting one, this, and quite a personal one for me actually, because late last year, I had quite a busy year last year. I was touring a lot. I played in India and America and got married in the middle of it as well and went to Burning Man for my honeymoon. And then when I got back, I actually ended up in hospital with exhaustion in October last year. And it made me have a real think about all the things that I was managing, because I run my own label and I'm an artist as well. And I kind of realised that social media and my online stuff was probably the main culprit for causing me stress and anxiety and eventually exhaustion. So yeah, I had to have a really good look at that and how I use them. And at the time I came completely off Facebook, came off social media for about a month, and I was kind of thinking at the time I'm going to get left behind or I'm going to miss out on, you know, loads of stuff, but I really didn't, and actually it was quite liberating not being on there, and definitely less stressful. Obviously, I'm not saying that nobody should have social media because we're in this digital era, and obviously, yes, you need a really strong online presence. I use, I think, probably six different platforms, so YouTube, Mixcloud, SoundCloud, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and I've got me as just her, I've got my brand Constant Circles, and I've got a blog as well. So it's kind of like 3 lots of 6 pages that I'm managing, and it can be really overwhelming at times. So I think you need to have this online presence and you need to be a personality so people connect with you. But at the same time, I think it's really important for people now to have a look at their relationship with social media and just make sure that it's really healthy. How much time are you spending just mindlessly scrolling on there? Is what you're doing at that time, you know, is it giving you value? And also a lot of it I felt was quite negative on there a lot of the time. People don't speak to each other very nicely, so I think everybody needs to just be nicer to each other online as well. So yeah, that's how I feel about it now.
You recently featured on the Crosstown Rebels label, singing on a track for Raw District. How did that come about, and will you be singing on more tracks?
Yeah, actually, I'd always done a little bit of singing before when I started producing, and I'd sung on a couple of other people's tracks but not been named. But I was always really kind of, I don't know, I just felt a bit weird about my own voice, you know, when you hear yourself back. So I didn't really push my vocals at all until I had this one track called Follow You Down, which was one of my biggest tracks that I've had. And it got remixed by Oliver Shorey's, who basically stripped it all out and put my vocal kind of on its own in the breakdown. And all of a sudden I was like, oh my God, that's actually my voice. And then from then on, I've kind of become a bit more confident with singing. So I've started to do a lot more vocals, particularly on my own tracks. But then a label called Celador, if you know Dave Seaman and Steve Parry's label, they, for their birthday release, they asked some of their artists to join up and do collaborations, and myself and Raw District picked each other to work with. So that was how I met the guys. And we did an instrumental track then, just a production collaboration. But at the time they were like, we really like your voice, can we do a vocal track in the future? So we then worked on some vocal stuff together. I sent them some vocals and they made it into a track. And then yeah, it ended up on Crosstown Rebels, which was an amazing label for it to land on. So and the track's done really well and got remixed by Alex Kennan. So yeah, so I'm starting to do a lot more vocal stuff now, and I'm singing top lines for some other people, but I can't say who they are just yet. I really can't, because in case it doesn't work, or you know, but I'm currently working with some other people that's really exciting. So yeah, so look out.
be returning to the USA again this year?
Yeah, definitely. So I've got my visa there to play for 3 years, so hopefully going to be playing quite regularly. I've just come back from San Francisco, playing for the Air Pusher crew, which is guys that I met at Burning Man last year. So I've been playing for them. And then hopefully going to be back out in the summer in June, around June time, to do the East Coast, so New York and that area as well.
What releases have you got coming up?
Again, I've got some things in the pipeline that I can't quite say yet. I've had a fairly quiet start to the year actually. Over Christmas I decided to rebuild my studio, like take it to bits, start again from scratch. And because I just felt like I needed my sound to be a bit more fresh. So the whole of kind of December and January I was in the studio learning the new tools and experimenting a bit more, and I've created a bank of I think I've got 12 new original tracks that have just gone out to a number of different labels, so I'm kind of waiting for things to happen at the minute, but I'm definitely on Anjuna Deep again soon. We're just trying to work out what's going to come out and when on Anjuna Deep, so that's really cool. And then I'm remixing a really good artist called Audio Hell on Jukebox label, that's coming out soon. And then also, which is really exciting for me, I'm going to have my first vinyl release on my own label, Constant Circles. Cheeky plug. Which is originals by Honor Osman, who's a really great artist from Switzerland, and then remixes from myself and Joseph K. So that's going to come out in June, I think, on vinyl on Constant Circles. So yeah, so lots of exciting stuff, but there'll be more news soon.
That's it for now. Don't forget to subscribe, like and share. Stay in touch with all things Krafted via krafted.co.uk. We'll see you next time.